welcome to Books and Booze, a bookish and wine and juice podcast from two book lovers who have never met. That is the power of the internet.
Hey guys, it's Jade. I am being extremely vulnerable today and sharing something with you that it means a lot to me. If you didn't know this about me, I am a writer. I am an aspiring novelist or aspiring author. I'd love to be published one day, but not quite there yet. I still need to do a lot of editing on my novels. But I wanted to read you the first bit of my novel. It's the prologue, if you will. It's a thriller, a psychological thriller, and it can get quite gritty, so be forewarned. I hope that you like it, and I would really appreciate your feedback. All that said, let's get on into it. I find a lot of the time going into a book blind is fantastic, so I'm not going to give you the synopsis. So here you go. Let me know what you think. I'd love to know your thoughts. I really would. The door to the coffee shop yawns open. Peyton's eyes swivel in their sockets until she finds me in an alcove across the foyer. With cautious steps, she hurries towards me. African music pulses through the pinewood walls. A group of performers play bongo drums and wooden hornbill trumpets, telling a story through their dance and chants out on the sidewalk. Tendons and delicate twig-like bones move frantically around in her hands as she clutches onto her pot of burnt coffee that I've already ordered. The table wobbles as we fidget in our seats, neither one of us wanting to be the first to speak. Peyton, harboring onto her fear, takes the wooden menu in her hands, even though we both know that we won't be ordering food. She hides behind it, and I stare at the globs of congealed glue coating the sides until a waitress comes over to us. Her name badge reads Princess. It's a typical name among the Africans. Peyton and I would usually joke about it, but today is different. We turned down the waitress's suggestion to try a slice of the cafe's freshly baked Malva pudding, drenched in hot custard. The moment Peyton had walked through the door, I'd lost my appetite. She looks dishevelled, undone. It's so unlike her usual self. I've never seen her look so weak, vulnerable. Whatever this is, it's bad. We met on the beach over 10 years ago. I'd been out on one of my melancholy walks when this flamboyant, dark-skinned woman bounded up to me with a trail of impossibly long corkscrew curls behind her. She'd given me the most startlingly large smile I'd ever seen, holding out her camera and asking me to take a picture for her. I'd fumbled with her camera and nodded politely. I couldn't really say no, could I? I'd watched as she darted to her left, grabbing a hold of a young girl with an identical mop of pitch-black hair. "Smile, Harley," the woman crooned into the girl's ear, squeezing her sides to force out a giggling yelp. They fell into each other, laughing and playing, and I wasn't sure if I should wait until they'd calmed down or start snapping away. I chose the latter. I smiled as I took photograph after photograph, although this felt like I was watching something intimate that I wasn't supposed to be a part of. The woman was gasping for breath as I handed a camera back to her. "Are you a photographer?" she asked me, flicking through the photographs. I remember blushing then, enjoying the feeling of the compliment. I shook my head, though I wished I could have said yes. A part of me had wanted to lie and seem more interesting. I wanted her to like me. She smiled at me again. "Well, you should be." Her smile was captivating. I couldn't look away. "I'm Peyton, and this," she pointed a thumb across to the small girl who instantly interrupted her. "Harley," the girl said with a self-assured voice that I didn't think I'd ever heard from someone so young. She was admiringly assertive for someone who must have been no more than 3 years old. She commanded attention. Peyton and Harley stared at me with indistinguishable grins. It was almost as though they were in competition with each other. "I'm Reagan," I mumbled, my voice barely audible above the sound of the ocean. I'd always been socially dislocated with my anxiety and unremarkable features, but I remember feeling strangely shy in front of them, particularly the little girl. Kids had always made me feel uncomfortable. I wasn't good with them. I think they sensed my desire for approval, and they used it to their advantage. Peyton and I had fallen into easy conversation as we walked back along the beach together. Harley charging ahead of us, splashing in the waves. She seemed oblivious to this third party who had just shown up during her time on the beach with her mum. I think I preferred that I felt invisible around her. From that day, Peyton had taken me under her wing, and we'd remained friends ever since. Opposites attract, as they say. What's happened? I asked her now, staring at her nicotine-stained fingers that match our ochre yellow mugs. Her fingers are swollen from pregnancy. Skirting around the question, Peyton beckons the waitress back over. She hasn't said a word since sitting down at the table. I stare at her aging features as she orders rooibos tea. Her words come out mangled. Peyton, speak to me, I say imploringly, reaching out to touch her hand. It's trembling. She flinches away from me, making my thoughts ricochet around the room. Has someone hurt you? She shakes her head, leeching out the last of my patience. Her lips part, her strong jaw quivering as she searches for the right words. We both jump as her phone vibrates violently, skittering across the tabletop. All of the courage she's been summoning evaporates. Harley's face flashes up onto the screen. We stare at it for a moment too long, wide grin and sharp white teeth stealing the rest of the photograph. She has a light dusting of freckles over her well-defined nose and high cheekbones. I need to get this, she whispers. Her voice is strangulated. She lifts herself up on shaky legs and starts to walk back towards the entrance. I thrum my knuckles on the table, rat-tat-tat. Hi, sweetie, I hear say into the phone. Her voice instantly sugars. I watch her pace back and forth through the coffee shop window while she speaks to her daughter. She looks harried, like she's trying to explain herself. I sip my coffee, waiting. When she returns, she's even more flustered than before. The chair creaks under her weight as she sits back down. A coffee machine screams in the corner of the room. It's Harley, she eventually says through gritted teeth. I remain silent, watching her thumb the screen of her phone until she places it to one side. She looks up at me reluctantly. I'm scared, Reagan. I don't even know how to say this without sounding completely crazy. Try, I encourage her carefully. I can hear a clock from somewhere in the room while the performers outside thank someone for putting a handful of coins into their shabby hat. Tick-tock. She doesn't want me to have Nova. There's no mistaking the fear in her eyes as she places her hands over her 8-month baby bump. Without even thinking about it, I tell her that's ridiculous. It has to be. It's such a fallacious thing to say that I'd laugh if it weren't for how unequivocally terrified she looks. I'm serious. She keeps doing all these weird things, trashing the nursery, throwing out the new baby albums I bought. After the baby shower, she tries to take all of the presents back to the stores. It sounds like she's just acting out, P. She'll come around to it. I'm trying to sound like I know what I'm talking about, but the truth is, I'm the youngest child myself, and I have no idea what it's like to have another baby come in and take my parents away from me. Not that I really had much parenting to begin with anyway. It's not just that. There are other things too. She says I don't need the baby things because I'm not going to have a baby. It's like she refuses to accept it. When I told her the baby was kicking the other day, she put her hands on my stomach, and when Nova kicked, Harley pushed back hard. Really hard. It scared me a lot, Reagan. There are tears in her eyes. I consider this for a moment. I guess I'm trying to be pragmatic. The feeling of babies kicking inside the womb freaks me out too. Maybe that's why Harley reacted that way. Peyton doesn't give me a chance to respond. I don't know if she's going to be able to handle not being the centre of attention. It's true that for 13 years she has always been the epicenter of her mother's universe. I don't know what to say. She's so angry, I honestly just don't know what she's capable of right now. I clear my throat, sipping the welcome bitterness of black coffee. I think there's a lot of hormones in your house right now, babe. You need to remember that she's 13. Teenage hormones plus your pregnancy hormones is going to be a lethal combination. She sighs, nodding forlornly before choking back a sob. I'm the worst mother in the world. No, you aren't, I say, meaning it. Reagan, I'm scared of my own daughter. Her sparkling eyes bleed right into mine, making the hair stand up on my arms. We finish our drinks in silence, neither one of us knowing what to say. When the bill comes, we have our usual fuss over who's going to settle the tab. As always, Peyton wins. She's always had a much stronger personality than I ever will. When the change is brought over, I watch Peyton ferreted away. She's still on edge. I shrug on my mottled blazer as we begin our procession down the coffee shop steps. The bricks are cracked and loose beneath our feet. There's an autumnal nip in the air and the usual scent of cooking oil lingering in the breeze. The first thing she does when we're out on the sidewalk is light a cigarette. The smoke blows back into my face, but for once I don't care. Passers-by shoot her filthy looks, their eyes flitting between a cigarette and her bulging stomach. She doesn't seem to notice. I've become fairly used to receiving looks from strangers whenever I'm around Peyton. She has this rare ability to not give a shit about what anyone thinks of her. From her tumultuous voice to her animated personality, she always remains true to herself, and I've always been enamored by her. I think that's why it shakes me so much to see her as run down as she is right now. "Hey, you're going to be okay," I assure her, placing a hand on her arm as she unlocks her car. A boy wearing a dirty, hole-filled shirt that must have once been white comes running over to us to let us know that her car is still okay. No one had tried to smash the windows or steal it today. I smile at him gratefully and hand him a silver coin. He looks down at the palm of his hand and grins as though he's now rich. He runs off to his group of barefooted friends who are staring at us eagerly. Peyton pivots towards me, throwing her arms around my neck and almost knocking me off balance. She smells like she always does, caramel perfume, too sweet for me, mixed with cigarette smoke. It's a smell I've come to love. I breathe her in, feeling her curls whip around us in the wind. I can't shake an unsettling feeling as I hug her back a little too tightly. I should have paid more attention. If you'd want to hear more of this, let me know. We're thinking about maybe doing sort of like little mini chapters at a time of my book to see what you guys think of it. And if you like it, I might continue sharing it with you. I mean, the book's finished. I've taken a bit of a hiatus from writing. I've got a bit of writer's block and I don't know what to do. And I just feel like if I get some feedback, whether it be, productive criticism or, the lovely messages saying, wow, that was really enjoyable, you can't wait for the next one, please, that'd be awesome. But it is not expected. But that would mean the world to me, and I think it would help me get back into the writing process. I mean, Nanowrimo is coming up. That's National Novel Writing Month in November, and I would really love to get that inspiration back to start something new, write a new book. So let me know what you think of my prologue. The book is called It Was You by Jade, Wright, and I hope to be back with you soon to share the next installment of this book. What was I drinking, by the way? I'm busy with my Books and Booze, a bookish podcast wine glass, and I am literally just about to take a sip. So good. We are, well, me, not we, me and my book are busy drinking Killicanoon Mulga Shiraz. It's a 2015 bottle from South Australia, and it pays homage to the drought-tolerant, iconic shrubland indigenous to outback Australia, robust, full-flavoured, and very enduring. It is divine. I adore Shiraz. It's my favourite type of wine. To be honest, I have not had a bad wine since I have been in Australia, and maybe like some house wines in restaurants, and I don't even know why they've got them on the menu. But so I have this local, I've mentioned it in previous episodes, but this local called First Choice Liquor Store, and they do 6 for $36. So you get 6 bottles of wine, red or white, for $36. And every single time me and Mark try and go around and get something new and different to try, and we have not had one bad wine from that special. So that's amazing. I am very happy being in Australia, because that's like South Africa, where I'm from. There's loads of like lovely wines, but the cheaper you go, the nastier it gets. Whereas here, I mean, this is cheap wine for Australia, and it's been fantastic so far. I honestly cannot fault it. So there you go. Anyway, I will talk to you soon, guys.
Thanks for listening to Books and Booze. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter under BooksBoozePod, or email us at hello@booksboozepod.com. We're also on Patreon if you'd like to support our podcast by donating as little as $2 a month. If you're looking for a free way to support us, then you can leave us a review on Apple iTunes or Stitcher. It really helps other people find us. As always, it's been a pleasure. I'm Jade, and you can follow my Instagram at boho_bookworm, and Chiara is my co-host, and you can find her under bookish.kiki. Until next time, happy reading and drink responsibly.